So good afternoon. Welcome to the Pittsburgh Land Bank Board meeting for Friday, May 10th, 2024. We'll begin with item 1, which is roll call.
Thank you, Council President. My name is Emily Kalchak, the Assistant Manager of the Pittsburgh Land Bank, and I will be calling today's roll. Councilman Bobby Wilson. Councilman Daniel Lavelle.
Here.
Councilman Kahari Mosley.
Here.
Director Wanda Wilson.
Present.
Director Jennifer Cash Wade.
Present.
Director Kirk Berkeley.
Present.
Director Steve Mazza. Director Tamara Dedukovich.
Present.
And Director Tammy Thompson. We have a quorum. Back to you, Council President.
Thank you. Next is public comment. For all those wishing to provide public comment, please use the raise your hand function in the bottom menu if you wish to speak during public comment. As a reminder, public comment is taken at both the beginning and the end of our meeting. To begin, please state your name, neighborhood, and organization affiliation. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Sally, do we have anyone?
Yes, we have 2 registered speakers today. And if there's anyone else participating, if you could please raise your hand at this time. My first registered speaker is Alan Cisco.
Hi, everybody. Hi, friends. My name is Alan Cisco. I am a resident of South Oakland. I also am the Director of Special Projects for the Tricog Land Bank, the land bank that operates outside of the city in the Mon Valley and other communities in Allegheny County. Just a quick comment today. I understand that the direct sales to residents sort of pilot program is on the agenda today. And I just wanted to briefly speak in favor of the Pittsburgh Land Bank exploring that opportunity. At the Tricog Land Bank, we've sold about 70. I think we just sold our 70th property recently. And of those, 84% are to private individuals. That includes, folks who are who have turned our homes into homes for themselves. It includes private developers who've responsibly rehabbed homes and sold them for home ownership. It includes rentals. It includes a combination of things. But, the Tricog Land Bank and our setups are different. Our stakeholders are different. But we like the being able to dispose of some of our inventory to the private market is a critical part of our success. And I just, would like to encourage the board to support, the Pittsburgh Land Bank exploring that opportunity as well. Thanks for taking a little bit of time and, good luck.
Thank you, Alan. Just want to remind anyone in the attending today, if you'd like to speak, please raise your hand. My next registered speaker is Isaac Falvey.
Hi, my name is Isaac Falvey. I'm on the board of directors of the Community Alliance of Spring Garden in East Deutschtown. I too would like to speak in favor of the previous commenters' remarks, having the land bank acquire and sell properties directly to individuals to help speed up some of the processes. This would be transformative for our neighborhood. We have a lot of city-owned properties and tax delinquent properties and have had, decades of blight here in East Deutschtown and Spring Garden on the north side. And the previous process with the land reserve, required years of city properties sitting for years upon time. And by the time they would eventually get to organizations like ours, they literally have holes in the roofs and are falling down. And this process, again, I can't speak highly enough about being transformative in getting these properties recycled and hopefully in the hands of new neighbors and living in them. And if that's not possible, again, at least being redeveloped by responsible redevelopers who will then sell them in good shape to the new owners. So again, CASGED is 100% behind this, and we have already been talking with Sally about some potential properties in Spring Garden that would be perfect for this program. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac. My next speaker is Tyan Battle.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tyan Battle. I am a Hill District resident and also a executive director of a nonprofit based out of the Hill District. The reason for my comment is today, I am a part of the Neighborhood Allies Co-Empowerment series that just began actually this week. And there were some concerns with a few of the participants that the land bank should give opportunities to residents and individuals to purchase vacant and also bladed properties, and also forming a small committee with residents from different neighborhoods to help out the city and county land bank, small nonprofits that are helping out with the land bank. So I thought it would be important for me to come on to this board meeting today just to suggest a conversation amongst the board about putting together a small committee that can help out the land bank workers so that we can get more properties turned over in the city of Pittsburgh. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to quickly acknowledge, I see our new board member, Tammy Thompson, has joined us. City Channel, if we can get some help moving Miss Thompson on as a panelist.
And Sally, just to add to that, I think Councilman Wilson is also trying to get into the meeting. If we see him in the waiting room, can we promote him to a panelist as well? Hi, Tammy.
There we are.
Hello.
Hey, Tammy.
Hi.
All right, so sorry for the interruption. So my next speaker is Tina B.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. My name is Tina Burgess. I live in Penn Hills, and I was also similar to Miss Battles. I was at the Neighborhood Allies series for co-empowerment, and I'm in support of the land banks, selling the properties to residents, but also opening it up to, people who want to develop and, put money into these properties and make them affordable to the people in the area. There's definitely a need for it. And, everyone in that group has a strong desire to, fix up the area. And, it's something everyone is pretty passionate about. So providing everyone with an additional opportunity to do it would be huge for the Pittsburgh area. That's pretty much all I have to contribute to that.
Thank you, Tina. Let me just pause for a moment. Do we have any other public speakers? Okay, seeing no hands raised, I will turn it back to you, Chairman.
Thank you. We'll move on to item number 3, Chairman's Report. We want to begin by thanking our outgoing member, Karen Breen, for her time serving on the board. She was certainly a wonderful addition and really helped us move from a less functioning, unfunded board to a fully functioning and funded board. So we want to thank her for her time. Anything you'd like to add?
Yes, thank you, Karen. She wasn't able to join us today, but we did really appreciate working with Karen.
Thank you. Next, we want to welcome our mayoral appointees to the Pittsburgh Land Bank. We'll begin with Ms. Tamara Dudukovich, who will be replacing Doug Anderson with a term expiring January 1st, 2027. Is there anything you would like to add?
No, just I thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to putting my experience in community development and community development finance to assist in the land bank's work.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll move on to longstanding friend Kurt Berkeley, who was going to be replacing Ms. Karen Breen with also a term expiring January 1st, 2027. Mr. Berkeley?
Thank you for having me. It's nice to see everyone, old faces and new, so I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
Thank you. And lastly, we want to welcome Ms. Tammy Thompson, who is also joining the board as a mayoral appointee, replacing Senator Wayne Fontana with a term to expire January 1st, 2027. Welcome, Ms. Thompson. Is there anything you would like to say?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to learn. I'm really here to learn and just provide as much input as I can to help increase the amount of properties that we can move through this land bank. I don't want to, I'm speaking to the choir here. I know that everybody who is part of this knows how important it is that we get this right and that we are doing our part to recycle and get properties back onto the tax rolls and provide housing for as many families as we possibly can. So most of you know that I am here and will be here representing the people of our communities who need these units to move in the way that I know we will as we work together to figure it out. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll move on to the approval of the April 2024 board meeting minutes. Just a reminder to members, when you make and second a motion, please say your name for the purposes of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the 2024 board meeting minutes?
So move, Councilman Kahari Mosley.
Second, Jennifer Cash Wade.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes have been approved. Next is agenda item 4, which is the treasurer's report, and I believe Ms. Wilson will be delivering that.
Yes. Thank you, Councilman. If we can go to the next slide, we'll show the finances for April. So we have April closed and we have our income statement and our balance sheet to review for April. The April financials show, I would say the most notable thing is the April expenses are $203,000. Most of that was the staffing invoices that we approved at our last meeting. Those actually got booked in April, so we see them there. Next we can move to the balance sheet. Shows a strong financial position with $1.5 million is our equity position. The next slide shows we do approve expenses. This is a small number of other miscellaneous expenses that that's before us that are April expenses that we'll approve. And then the final slide, we just always show how, if we go to the next one, this is just for information only about how we kind of track our funding from different funding sources, sort of in those different buckets and how we're spending those down. So that's just a slide that shows that for our information as we see how we're spending funds from different funding sources. So I'll go ahead and make the motion before us, and then if there's any discussion after that, I can answer anybody's questions. We can have discussion. So I will make the motion to accept the April 2024 financial report and approve the monthly expenditures.
Kirk Berkeley, second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next is agenda item number 5, staff updates. I believe Sally will walk us through that.
Yes, thank you, Chairman.
All right, and Sally, before you start, if we could just check the waiting room for Councilman Bobby Wilson. I've received some intel that he is in there.
Yes, let's see if we can get. Okay, all right, we'll give City Channel a minute to check in. And let's see, hopefully we can get Councilman Wilson in here with us. So our first update is a celebration. We have closed on another property. This has been sold out of the URA's inventory to Amani Christian Community Development Corporation. This is a parcel in the Hill District that has been sold for a future affordable housing project. So great job, Emily. Emily does a lot of work to make these properties move along and close. So we're happy to have one more in the books.
Is that what we approved yesterday? That's what I thought, just so members are aware, the URA also approved this development yesterday, at yesterday's board meeting.
Yes, yeah, which is a great example of so many of these projects get done because they are supported by the Urban Redevelopment Authority. And we're here to just make that land more accessible and support those projects. A quick update on our property pipelines. We're going to go through a few updates here. What members are seeing here are property that have arrived in the land bank's inventory. And we have just begun the quiet title process. So our firm is getting ready to file so we can make these properties available for our identified end users. So all but one has arrived. And then we're waiting on 205 Glen Calda. But all else is officially owned by the Pittsburgh Land Bank. There's about 16 here. This next chunk, we are waiting transfer from the city. These are still currently in the city's inventory, destined to go to the Pittsburgh Housing Development Corporation for affordable housing for sale development, or I should say rehab. And then this is our next tranche that we're expecting to arrive here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. They're out for signature. So we've got a mix here. Again, lots of single family homes going to the Pittsburgh Housing Development Corporation for single family housing, 3319 Niagara as well. We have a couple of sales to private businesses. Farmer Girl Ebb is another good example of a small business also being supported by URA grant funding to open a fresh farm food stand in the neighborhood of Sheridan, and some properties moving to Habitat for Humanity as well. So just a general estimate here of what it looks like for these properties to move through our inventory or move into our inventory through the city process, right? So especially for our new board members, this last tranche here was approved by the Land Bank Board in January. We took it before City Council in February for approval of that transfer. And then it goes to City Law and Finance to prepare deeds, collect signatures, and issue those quitclaim deeds to the Pittsburgh Land Bank. All right, so here's our next chunk of property that was approved at the February board meeting. These went before City Council in April. We are expecting a bit of a delay with these properties in Garfield because they are part of a pending an open conservatorship. So there are plans to resolve that conservatorship so the property can be transferred to the land bank, but just an additional legal process that must be worked through before we'll see those transfers. So here would be the standard timeline, at least for the properties on Kelly Street should follow this. All right, and then just a few pending sales that we hope to see close before our next board meeting.
And I'd just like to call attention the Bloomfield Garfield Corporation. That is yet another project that was on the URA's agenda yesterday, received full funding, and another one of these collaborations to bring these developments to fruition.
Yes, thank you, Emily. All right, and just a summary of properties sold so far. All right, a quick update on, so the Pittsburgh Land Bank entered into a donation agreement in 2022 with the city of Pittsburgh to cover the cost of clearing the title on property that had been requested by community development corporations through the property reserve. So these are the remaining properties that the title has just been quieted, and CDCs are beginning to work with the city to close on these properties. With some exceptions, where we are working with some of these CDCs to help determine other pathways for sale. You'll notice 1266 High is here on this list that we're going to talk about here in a couple of minutes. And then these are the properties that have successfully been sold through this program. And so for reference, the property reserve has been sunsetted. It closed in 2020 and has been taken over by the land bank. So we're working with the city to help clear out the remaining properties in that inventory.
Just one question. As we work with the various CDCs, are we also ensuring they have the financial wherewithal to then develop the said properties?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. We would not sell without a viable plan in place. And then everything that we sell with either a reverter deed or an enforcement mortgage. So if those projects fall through, we would be able to take the property back.
Thank you. The question was really more so for new members to sort of be on record in terms of the process. So thank you.
It's a good one. So I'll turn the board's attention to some updates on the agenda. So we wanted to provide a brief update on the land bank's ongoing negotiations of an intergovernmental cooperation agreement with the three taxing bodies, which is the city, the county, and the school district. The land bank will be presenting at the school district's finance committee on May 28th. We're really looking forward to that discussion, and we'll be keeping the board updated as those negotiations move along. Next on the agenda, we have proposed new application deadlines. So we just wanted to make an announcement that we are looking to begin to set deadlines at least 6 weeks in advance of our meetings for our people to apply. So we'll need those applications at least 6 weeks in advance, and we'll be publishing those deadlines on our website. So probably starting in June or July, we'll really be looking to push those back so we have ample time to review new applications. And finally, I wanted to highlight the Pittsburgh Land Bank will be attending the Pennsylvania Land Bank Summit held by the Housing Alliance. If there are any members that would be interested in attending, it's just a one-day conference. I will be presenting as a panelist at some point. And it's quite affordable to attend. So we'll be driving up in the morning and coming back in the evening. If anyone would like to join us, please let us know and we would be happy to register you.
Sally, can you share the details of that, please? The date and location?
Yes, we can. Yes, and it's located at Seven Springs is the location.
Thank you. Next up on our agenda is action items, of which we have 4. We're beginning with city-owned properties. I believe Sally wants to provide a high-level overview.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. So today we have 3 properties that we're presenting, as we discussed last month, as part of our pilot residential sales program. So I wanted to give a brief overview of that program. So the land bank is looking to create an additional tool to be able to dispose of blighted, vacant, and abandoned property with the hope of helping to preserve single-family homes, right? This is important because it saves taxpayers from having to pay for a property to be demolished. It's more environmentally sustainable. We can promote home ownership through this program. It provides another tool to address, to provide more immediate blight remediation. And when we lose a house to demolition, oftentimes something can't be rebuilt on that site. There may not be a market in that community to support new construction. And so that community is left with a vacant property for years, if not decades, waiting for something to come back. So if we're able to intervene at an earlier stage, we can preserve more of our single family homes in the city of Pittsburgh. So a couple of example programs. This is common programming that land banks implement throughout Pennsylvania and the United States. But one that we're really looking at closely and really, copying almost to a T is the TriCog Land Banks. And I'm sorry, this should say the Renovation Required Program. The TriCog Land Bank Renovation Required Program. And then kind of the most famous one in land bank world is the Cuyahoga Land Bank's Deed and Escrow Program as examples.
Thank you. With that, Emily, would you like to read resolution number 43 into the record?
Oh, sorry, I have a couple more.
Oh, sorry.
The program. That's
Sorry.
okay. Okay, so here are some quick stats about vacant and abandoned property in the city of Pittsburgh. We have 1,800 condemned houses on the condemnation list. We estimate there's over 1,000 vacant structures eligible for tax sale. Several hundred properties on PLI's dead end property list, which means PLI is not able to identify a responsible owner. So we can assume that those properties have been abandoned. And we don't have a next step in our current system to there's no one that comes along to say, what is the next step to relieve this street and this community of this blighted house. So what we're proposing with our program, after we evaluate the structure to make sure that it's a savable structure, that there isn't going to be a renovation, a financing gap, is that we'll list it for sale, and then we'll have buyer requirements. So anyone applying to purchase these homes from the land bank have to pass a qualified buyer check, which means that you're up to date on your taxes. You don't have open violations on any other property that you might own. You also will need proof of financing to cover the cost of purchasing and rehabbing the house, and you'll have to submit an approved rehab plan. Ideally, we'd really like to see buyers also under contract with a contractor, and we can even require that they submit a building permit so that we know that they are within that system as well. And we're also proposing using a 5-year deed restriction for owner occupants, just to as a layer of protection to confirm that that buyer will live in the home for at least 5 years. And then just wanted to highlight currently in our policies and procedures, this is how these are our guidelines, how we would prioritize applicants. So if we happen to get competing applications, we would prioritize owner occupants over other types of applicants first, qualified owner occupants. Anyone, of course, would have to meet those prior buyer requirements. And as I had mentioned earlier, anything that we then sell through the land bank, we would be using an enforcement mortgage or reverter deed that would require that work be completed within 2 years of that person purchasing the home. Or we would have the ability to take the house back. Or if someone does something radically different than they said on what they said they were going to do on their application. That would give us the ability to take that property back. So just a quick outline of the timeline of this program. So before any of these properties come to the land bank board for approval to acquire, we're going out to the structure, we're touring it with a URA staffer. And we're putting together an estimated cost to clean out the property and seal the envelope, and to just make sure that the structure is sound and salvageable. And so the report that the board received will be standard as part of the review for whether or not we should be acquiring these properties. And then, of course, we're looking at area comparable sales to make sure that that our buyers would have the ability to acquire the financing necessary to complete those rehabs. And then at that point, we would then bring the property before the board for review and approval. And then we would then start that standard process of going before city council for approval of transfer and then that process of the city transferring the deed. So once it arrives in our inventory, the land bank would immediately clean up the outside of the home, begin that clean out work, and then we would begin the quiet title process. And so we estimate probably about halfway through quiet title is when we would begin listing the property for sale and soliciting applications. And we want to make that as visible as possible to the general public. So think a listing on Zillow. So anyone is aware that this property is available and can be applied for. And then once we receive those applications and we pass the application deadline and we receive an applicant that has passed our initial review, that would then come before the board again, and the board would vote to approve that applicant and final sale. Okay, all right. And now, Chairman, you can call the vote.
Thank you. Now we can read resolution number 43 into the record.
Thank you, Chairman. Resolution number 43, authorization for the Pittsburgh Land Bank to acquire Block 24C, Lot 133 in the 24th Ward from the city of Pittsburgh and to prepare the property for sale, including cleaning out the structure and sealing the building envelope at a cost not to exceed $38,000 using ARPA funds.
Is there a motion to approve?
So move, Councilman Kahari Mosley.
Is there a second?
I second Tamara Dedukovich.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 43 has been approved. Will you please move on to resolution 44?
Resolution number 44, authorization for the Pittsburgh Land Bank to acquire Block 24C, lots 165 and 167 in the 24th Ward from the city of Pittsburgh and to prepare the properties for sale, including quieting the title, cleaning out the structure, and sealing the building envelope at a cost not to exceed $28,000 using ARPA funds.
We have a motion to approve.
So move,
Is there a second?
Councilman Mosley.
Sorry.
No problem. Any discussion? Seeing discussion. Councilman Mosley?
No discussion to the resolution, but I did want to just note for the record that Councilman Wilson is now on my on speakerphone on my cell phone.
Oh, great. Thank you.
So I just wanted to
Thank
make sure
you
that
for
was
that.
there for the record.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution. Thank you. Resolution 44 has been approved. May we please read resolution 45?
Resolution number 45, authorization for the Pittsburgh Land Bank to acquire Block 24C, Lot 192 in the 24th Ward from the city of Pittsburgh and to prepare the property for sale, including quieting the title, cleaning out the structure, and sealing the building envelope at a cost not to exceed $23,000 using ARPA funds.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved. Jennifer Cash Wade.
Second, Councilman Mosley.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion for number 56 has been approved. That takes us finally to resolution number 57.
Resolution number 57, authorization for the Pittsburgh Land Bank to acquire Block 33F, Lot 149 in the 30th Ward from the city of Pittsburgh and to prepare the property for sale, including quieting the title, cleaning out the structure, and sealing the building envelope at a cost not to exceed $61,000 using ARPA funds.
May we have a motion?
Motion to approve, Councilman Mosley.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Discussion?
Yes, discussion on this. Tamara Dedukovich.
Yes.
what is the difference between, why is this one being funded with an ARPA stabilization grant versus the other ARPA funds were just identified as ARPA funds?
Yes, and so, and we're, when we do the approvals, we introduce a resolution and then I do a brief presentation. So your timing and question is perfect. So this property here, this is the typical type of structure that we've been processing so far at the land bank. This was requested through the treasurer's sale by the Hilltop Alliance. It has just come into the city's inventory, so we're really moving at breakneck speed here, requesting it. So the Hilltop Alliance will acquire the property and fundraise to do an 80% AMI rehab and sell to a 80% AMI or below owner occupant. And so the way we've structured this program is that we'll go in and we are making funding available for the Hilltop Alliance to do immediate repairs to seal the envelope and stop any active damage occurring in the building, which really saves a lot of money down the road because in our current system, these houses sit untouched for a long time. And then the overall amount that CDCs must fundraise to complete the rehab it balloons. So we're looking to prevent any additional deterioration. So our goal is we have a cap there so that it's flexible, but this is likely not the maximum amount that will be spent. And the CDC will be required to submit their stabilization plan, and then we'll review and approve it, to make sure that we're really focusing that money on immediate needs and just preventing additional deterioration. So no new kitchens and carpet and stuff like that. It's kind of like that immediate need for stabilization.
No, thank you for that. Because is it fair to say that the distinction here is when through the pilot program, the land bank itself is taking on the responsibility, it's going to be described as the buyer ready budget, but essentially it's serving the same function. It's just when you have an identified end user, you're making the grant and they're responsible for doing it.
That's exactly right.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Thank you.
We're very excited to be partnering with Hilltop Alliance and maybe set a record for how fast we can move a property through a tax sale and into the hands of a CDC. We're making good progress so far.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 57 has been approved. That moves us on to item D, which is URA owned properties. Sally?
Yes, we're going to have Emily introduce the resolution, and then I'm going to speak briefly on the proposed use and project.
Thank you, Sally. Resolution number 58, authorization for the Pittsburgh Land Bank to acquire block 29 and lot 140 in the 16th ward from the Urban Redevelopment Authority of Pittsburgh for $6,205 using ARPA funds, and authorization to convey the same property to Southside Community Council for $7,500.
Here's a motion and then discussion.
Motion to approve.
So move, Councilman Mosley.
Do we have a second?
Second.
With discussion, Sally?
So the Southside Community Council, along with Councilmember Bob Charland, had approached the URA. They're interested in purchasing this small parcel to install a neighborhood sign. And so we worked with the URA and the Southside Community Council to facilitate that sale. So I think, and for reference for our new members, especially, so our transfers at this time all come through either URA's inventory or the city's. And the benefit of us transferring property out of the URA inventory is URA is governed by state law. There are a lot of requirements. And so when we have a very small project like this, where they just want to maintain the property and install a sign, the land bank's requirements are a better fit. The process is a better fit for something of this scale, which is why we're presenting it to the board today.
Just out of curiosity, what is the sign that there is?
Say like, welcome to the South Side.
Okay,
Yep.
that's, yeah.
Yes, which, and they'll need zoning approval. You need zoning approval for neighborhood signs. So there'll be a review process and they'll have to go before the zoning, the committee that does review for the public projects to install. And I'm blanking on the name, so I'm looking at you, Kirk, because you probably
Art
the
Commission.
city. Oh, yes, Wanda. Yes, the name of the.
It's the Art Commission I think you're talking about.
Yes. Yes, but there's okay, that's fine. Sorry. Doesn't matter. But there will be review to make sure that the sign is appropriate.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Resolution number 58 has been approved. That exhausts our list of items. That moves us on to public comment. Is there anyone with us wishing to provide public comment? Please raise your hand at this time.
Okay. We're not seeing any raised hands. Just want to pause for one moment. Okay.
If not, then I will announce that our next meeting will be on June 14th, and we need a motion to adjourn.
So move, Councilman Mosley.
Seconded, Tamara Dijakovic.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Second.
Aye.
We are adjourned.